In this episode of To The Point Code, we'll be hosting a Node.js backend server on Heroku. To demonstrate this, we'll be using the login backend server that we created in the previous video. To get started, let's visit heroku.com. On the web page, we need to sign up or log in if you have an account already. Once we log in, we'll be taken to the dashboard. In addition to a Heroku account, we need the Heroku CLI. This will enable us to communicate with Heroku from the command line. Now on the command line, we check if the Heroku CLI has been properly installed by checking for the version. Once we have it properly installed, we enter the directory for our project. In the directory, we use Heroku login to log in into our Heroku account. Once we've logged in successfully, we initialize our project into a Git repository and open our project in a code editor. We'll be using VS Code in this episode. Once in the editor, we create a git ignore file and add our node modules and our .env file. After that, we create a Procfile which tells Heroku how to run our server. Once that is done, we make a few changes in our server.js file. We change the value of our port to point to process.env.port and leave the port 3000 as a fallback value. Once that is done, we go back to the command line and create a Heroku project. Now back in the editor, we realize that we store our mongodb connection string as an environment variable, so we need to set up that in the Heroku as well. Once we are done, we can head to the browser and check our project, and we can see that the variable has been uploaded. Now let's add and commit our changes. Once we are done, we push our code to Heroku. in the browser, we can see that our project has been deployed. Heroku requires that we scale our application, so let's do that. Once that is done, we can open our application. In the browser, we realize that we have an application error. Now to trace this error, let's check the logs of our application. Checking from the logs, we realize that our bcrypt package is missing. And this can be confirmed from our package.json file. Note that this might not be the situation in your case. So to fix this, we head back to the command line and reinstall our bcrypt package. Once we are done, we can add and commit our changes once again. After the commit, we push our project back to Heroku. After the deployment, we scale our application once again. Now opening our application, we receive cannot get, which is perfectly fine. Now to properly test our application, we'll make use of Postman. To get started, we copy the link of our application from the browser. Once we have the link, we attach user/signin to it. Now we adjust the request type and pass in some credentials. We stored these credentials in our database in our previous video. Now we can see that the sign-in is working successfully. Now let's try the sign up. Can see that the sign up works successfully as well. Now let's intentionally submit the same sign up details again, and we can see that we are provided with an error message. So basically that's all for this episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a like and subscribe. Also please leave your questions and suggestions as comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.